Hi everyone. My name's Toby, and I'm gonna be hosting for Jeff today. Andrew, if you could let me know if my sound is working, that would be helpful. Okay, great. Let me just position my phone. I think that works. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to position my phone. So my name is Toby, and I'm an old friend of Jeff's, and you may have seen me before, but not with a mustache. I just gave myself a mustache a few days ago for fun, so you get to see me with that new experience. And yes, as some people have mentioned, I did do nothing project a while ago, probably like a year ago. So I'm just jumping in to host for Jeff this evening. As some of you might also know, I created the BrightMind app, which is very, if you like Jeff stuff, you'll probably like BrightMind. We use a lot of the same material. We've both studied pretty closely together, Jeff and I. So nice to see folks. Oh yeah, and Jeff is in Nantucket. So he's just taking this evening off. Good to see folks calling in from all around. Mitch asks if I'm the developer of BrightMind. Yes, exactly. So if you don't know, BrightMind is a meditation app based off of my teaching, which is very similar to Jeff's. So you'll probably like it. Check it out if you wish. So let's get going here into the meditation. I think what I'd like to do is do a pretty standard autofocus practice, which used to be called do nothing, which I think is part of where Jeff gets the name for this event, the Do Nothing Project. So as you may know, it's the technique of no technique. We're really letting our attention do its thing and watching how concentration, clarity, and equanimity can happen on their own, which is really beautiful. So I'll ring a bell and do just very light guidance, and we'll go from there. Andrew, can you let me know again if they can hear the bell? I'm going to try ringing the bell right now. Did you hear that? Okay, sweet. Sometimes, okay, great. That's great that you can hear that. So let's begin. Enjoy, everyone. Posture is important in meditation. Posture is extremely important with the autofocus or do nothing technique. You can think of it as the posture is the entirety of the technique. So let's take some time to establish proper posture. Let the legs relax. They don't have to bear any weight, which is nice. Let them fully relax. Let the pelvis be heavy and rooted. Lengthen the spine so it stretches upwards, straight and tall. Relax the belly. Open the chest. You can pull the shoulders back slightly. Lengthen the neck, tuck in the chin a little. And relax the face. So even when practicing do nothing, we are intentionally maintaining the meditation posture. It's quite a lot to pay attention to there, actually. So throughout the sit, as you notice slouching or anything else, just remember to reestablish relaxed but alert posture. Now, here are the basic instructions for the do nothing technique. If you happen to notice your attention, if you happen to notice an intention to direct your attention, drop that intention. Otherwise, you don't have to do anything. Once again, if you happen to notice an intention to direct your attention, drop that intention. Otherwise, just kind of hang out. Enjoy. The instructions say, if you happen to notice an intention to direct your attention. So, no need to scan or pay attention or try to see if you're directing your attention. That would be an intention. So, it's just if you happen to notice an intention to direct your attention, that's when you drop it. There's no need to track whether or not you're doing that or anything. If you notice an intention to direct your attention, but you can't drop it, then that's fine. It doesn't really count as an intention by our definition. An intention is something that you have total control over, like raising or lowering your hand. So if you can't drop the intention, then it's just not an intention. Let it happen. For example, if you find yourself focusing on the breath and you kind of try to drop that intention, but you're still focused on the breath, that's fine. Just keep going with that. Again, it's not intention by our definition, so it doesn't really count. You may feel focused and relaxed. You may not feel particularly focused and relaxed. You may feel like you're meditating. You may feel like you're just kind of sitting there, not meditating. That's all fine. This technique is very unique. In the context of do nothing, what you experience, what happens, is completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter what happens in your mind and body during this sit. It's irrelevant. The only thing that matters is if you notice an intention to drop your attention, that you do that you drop the intention. Or sorry, if you notice an intention to direct your attention, you drop that intention. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter what happens. You could be daydreaming, you could be super focused, doesn't matter. The only thing we're remotely paying attention to is if we happen to notice an intention to direct our attention, we're dropping that. But other than that, it's an open-ended game. Anything can happen, anything's fine. Just go with it. Some people call this the technique of no technique. Remember, though, that the posture is important. You can think of the posture as a very simple, embodied technique. So we're not intentionally directing the mind, but we are intentionally remaining alert and relaxed in our body. And the body impacts the mind, so notice that. Notice how relaxing and staying alert with your body translates into a kind of mental focus and relaxation. If that's happening. It might not happen, but just be curious about that if you do notice something like that. Good work, folks. So I believe now's the time for any kind of reflections, questions, if you want to drop in the chat. Once again, my name's Toby. I'm just standing in for Jeff today. Jeff and I go way back. We're good friends and fellow meditation teachers. And you're welcome, everyone, for saying thanks in the comments. Oh, sure. So, as I mentioned that the new name for do nothing is autofocus, and this was mostly a decision that Shinzen made. Shinzen decided to call it autofocus. I think he still calls it do nothing sometimes, but I think the main reason to update kind of the official name of the technique had to do with the fact that Shinzen was developing a few other techniques. And he called this new group of techniques the auto family of techniques. And it involves cultivating and tuning into and nurturing spontaneity in all aspects of mind and body. So there's auto think, auto speak, auto move, and what we just did was auto focus. So it was more like he was coming up with these new techniques, and if you know Shinzen, you know that he likes to categorize stuff and he likes things to line up, and he needed a fourth auto technique. And so he decided to rename do nothing autofocus so that he would have a fourth technique in the group, because everything has 4 in his new graph. And it's actually a very accurate way to think about, or it's a helpful title, because that's one way to think about the technique, is that you are automatically focusing. You've usually trained your circuits doing other meditation techniques. You've trained up your concentration, clarity, and equanimity doing other techniques. And in the auto focus technique, you kind of realize that the mind can also automatically develop these skills on its own. So that's a bit of a background in terms of where the auto focus comes from. The other techniques are really cool. I don't know if some of you were there, but I led a retreat a few weeks ago, and we explored with Shinzen, and we explored all of the auto techniques: auto think, auto speak, auto move, and auto focus. So I just kind of did a deep dive into that. Paul asks a pretty broad question: how does this technique fit in with other techniques? What is its history in meditation? I guess a short way of answering that is, historically it comes from Soto Zen. So in Soto Zen they have practices called just sitting or shikantaza. And so in these practices, really the only instruction you get are to maintain the posture, which is what I focused on a lot this evening, was maintaining the posture. And but different traditions, even outside of Zen, have come up with stuff just like this. Dzogchen in Mahamudra traditions is very similar to this too. Silent illumination. So yeah, I mean, the way that I frame meditation families is actually into 3 categories. Is noting and labeling, nurture positive, and autofocus. So the way that I've set things up, autofocus is one of 3 general families of meditation techniques. Noting and labeling, you've probably heard about a lot through Jeff, where you track whatever sensory experience is happening. Nurture positive, you intentionally create positive stuff to focus on. Autofocus, you let whatever happens happen. So it's really important. I think it's kind of a fundamental practice to mix in at least a little bit, even if it doesn't come super naturally to you, at some point into your technique. And yeah, choiceless awareness is another name for this style. Although I will say people use these terms in many different ways. So as you probably have started to know, different teachers will define words differently. So just keep that in mind as you explore everything. In terms of an example of an intention versus a non-intention, it's pretty broad. So for example, an intention might be, oh, I want to focus on the breath. So if you notice an intention to focus on the breath, you would drop that intention. If you notice an intention to think about some problem that you have in your life, you would drop that intention. If you notice an intention to listen to a car that's driving by, you would drop that intention. Really any direction of attention, whether it's subtle or gross or anything, those all count. So hopefully that was helpful. Cool, it sounds like it was. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. And if anyone has any questions or reflections, feel free to jot them down. To answer Daniela's question, isn't focusing on your posture an intention? I would say absolutely. That's why I was saying during the practice that you can think of the posture as the only structured part of the technique. So you are intentionally maintaining your posture. Posture is very important, specifically with autofocus, with do nothing. So that is an intention, but it has more to do with your body than the way that you're directing your attention or your mind. So really good question to clarify that. All right, so I think we'll close up here. Thanks everyone. It was really fun to jump into this community. I hope to be back soon. If Jeff needs me to pop in. And if you're looking for more guidances, if you like Jeff's stuff, you may also, as many of you know, I run Brightmind, which is a meditation app. So you can look up Brightmind on your phone or just go to brightmind.com. There's all sorts of autofocus guidances in there. So feel free to check that out if you'd like. Otherwise, I think we'll leave it there. So thank you all and have good weeks.